What is going on, friends? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Sean Larsen, UW Whitewater, D3 WIAC. Love to see it. Coming back for another technical analysis. So excited to see what changes he's made. But yeah, if you're watching this video and you're thinking, man, I wish Sean Don would review my video and give me technical help and help me throw farther and set PRs and win championships, then you're in luck. Go to my website, gripandrip.co. Go check out the coaching services page. You can get yourself a technical analysis like I'm doing for Sean here. Or you can sign up for online coaching, monthly online coaching, throws programming, lifting programming, just technical coaching if you're into that. So go check out my website, gripandrip.co. Let's get into it. Hold on a second. All right. So I had to adjust volume levels really quick. But yeah, you sent me quite a few videos, took a look at them all, and I think there were two that stood out to me as pretty solid throws. You got weight throw number 3 here, and then we're going to take a look at weight throw number 6. The first day of throws that you sent me were interesting. I still think that left side is leading the throw a little bit, but it looks like you're doing a better job of turning with it. So this was the best on that day. This was an admirable throw. Pretty solid orbit. You're yanking the finish a little bit, but this is not the one that I wanted to review. Like I said, here we have weight throw number 6. This one looked a little bit higher intensity and comparable to weight throw number 3 in terms of technique. But like I said, it's a little bit high intensity, so I think you're going to see a little bit more of what your tendency is and kind of what happens throughout the throw and how it affects stuff that goes on later in the throw. So we're going to take one more look at this, and then we'll break it down frame by frame. Cool. So very first thing, the last video I did on you was hammer, and with the weight throw being a little bit different, I think you should adjust your start position just a little bit. As you can see, your chest is down, your torso is kind of tilted forwards, your eyes are looking down at the ground. I'd like to see your torso be a little bit more upright, chest up, eyes up, just a little bit more solid posture. I think that'll help a lot from the start. So I mean, you do a good job of adjusting, but for some reason I feel like this position right here is just kind of setting you up to do some things that maybe you don't need to be doing. Stable base, you're down in the legs. Like I say, your torso is just a little bit forwards. At this position, not a bad thing. Like I said, I'd just like to see you sit down a little bit more, get your hips underneath you a little bit more. Maybe that would help. As you go through entry, you're doing the sling start. Love to see it. Pretty solid sling start. You're setting up that left side well. As you can see, left toe, knee. Your left shoulder could be out a little bit more, but then you can kind of see your tendency, like I said, is to lead the ball just a little bit. The very first throw, you sent me weight throw number 1, which is a nice easy throw, which I love to see, easy range thrown, finding some rhythm and all that stuff, was very left-sided, but it was still a decent throw. So use your right leg, get this left shoulder out a little bit more over that left toe, and then think about kind of holding your position. You can think about holding your head at 0, finding a focal point behind you, or sorry, well, behind the circle, and then letting the ball pass, because this, in terms of if you look at the body, is a pretty solid position, but then you can see you're always just a little bit ahead of it. So the ball's at 0, but your body is just a little bit ahead of it, where your shoulders and your torso is pointing. Your left foot is opening up a little bit early. You're always just a little bit ahead of the ball. And if we had a side view here, you'd kind of see the same thing, that left side just leading the ball just a little tiny bit. But pretty smooth entry overall. Not too shabby. I'd like just like to see that left shoulder get out over that left toe a little bit more. And then you get the ball ahead of you just a little bit. Just let it get free. As you go through single support, not bad. If you do let the ball get a little bit more free, that'll feel like the ball stretching down this what would be the right sector line a little bit more. Jeez. And then that will kind of set things up better for the rest of the throw. Because, like I said, with you just leading a little bit, your right side's a little bit behind, and then when you go to catch, not a bad catch position, not even catching late or anything. I just like to see that ball grow towards the sector a little bit more, feel a little bit more impulse forwards. That'll set up kind of the linear aspect of the throw a little bit, because right now that entry just looks a little bit rotational. You can see there's a little bit of lift up perhaps in the shoulders. Very subtle, but pretty long, relaxed shoulders, which is good. So feel that ball grow towards that right sector a little bit more. Step forward towards it. You do a better job of catching this turn. Hips more underneath you, right foot a little bit more staggered towards the sector. Ball's in a decent place. Looks like there's some tension in the body. I think maybe, like I said, get that right foot a little bit more forward. So like I said, as the ball comes around the left, around here, step forward towards it with that right hip, with that right knee, and then just step forward towards it and let it come down naturally. And then you catch. And then you see you have good left ankle mobility, which is something I don't have. Good left ankle mobility. You're able to get that left heel down really early. As you can see, it's almost dramatic where that left side turns a lot at the start of this second double support. But as the ball comes through zero, you actually turn that right side with it pretty well, and this is a pretty solid position, stable left side. You're with the ball, everything's nice here. But like I said, maybe your left side pulls back a little bit in this turn, kind of not too dissimilar from what happened in the entry. Pretty lined up, but then as the ball goes left, you're pulling that left side back and shortening it just a little bit because you are just a little bit ahead of it. And you see that left side opens up and this right side doesn't turn as well with the ball. And you see you kind of get this plantar flexed right foot coming off the ground. And so you're kind of pulling that left side back, shortening the orbit around the left a little bit. And you can even see once again that kind of like lift in the shoulders, but pretty long and relaxed overall. There's just a little bit of inconsistency there. Then as you go into the next turn, it looks like that left leg does straighten out a bit too. As you can see, left leg straightens just a little tiny bit from where you land. So nice bent knee position, and then that left leg straightens out and pops you up just a little bit, pops up your whole body just a little bit. So then the high point gets more to 180, which is not a bad thing. But then you see this right knee kind of really pick up and then put down. And this, once again, is not a bad position. Your hips are underneath you, got some separation, got some tension, but let's see what happens from here. You can see that right foot comes down, kind of collapses. Left side, pulling back, leading it. So you were doing pretty solid up until this point, but I think because you do shorten the ball around the left, as you can see if we go back to the previous turn, here, you see that ball's long out left, kind of, if you compare it to the circle, it's outside almost of that circle. And then if we go to the next turn, it comes inside, shortens about 5-6 inches. It's a very minute thing, but it makes a big difference in terms of technique. So you're shortening that ball around the left, and then when you go to catch, you're probably missing a little bit of tension, which is why you see this right foot collapse. That left side is going to tighten up a little bit more. You're going to pull back a little bit more before the ball gets to zero. As you can see, your low point starts to shift a little bit, and you start turning inside of the ball, so that left side turns before the ball passes zero, before it clears zero. You're shortening the ball as it goes around the left. You can see this left leg opening up more. This right leg, as you can see, that right hip and knee wants to turn with the ball, but that right foot doesn't. That's a sign that your left side's kind of taken over. And then as the ball goes around the left, you can see that it's a little bit lower here in terms of the previous two turns. It was kind of more level with the shoulder. So you're really kind of shifting that orbit, pulling that left shoulder, and then doing that left side, using the left side to do the work. And then you can see, once again, if you look at where that left foot's pointed compared to the right foot, you are leading it a little bit. That left shoulder is higher than the right. And then you see, it looks like your low point, so in this turn, is just about after zero. So then that means your high point is going to be just after 180. And it looks like you're trying to get that right side into it a little bit more, but it's hard to do so when that left side is kind of taken over earlier in double support. But you're doing a good job to kind of catch up with it. I just like to see that ball a little bit longer left. and then you go to catch. You can see eyes look like they're down a little bit, but your shoulders are nice and long and relaxed, so you get a decent catch here. But then it's kind of the same thing. You're not feeling much pressure or tension with that right side. So then what's going to happen is that left side is going to clamp down that left heel nice and early. And then you see this weird thing where your right foot's pointed back towards like 270 and your left foot's pointed towards 45 or so after 0. And then the finish is almost entirely left-sided because you don't have that stability coming from the right side. You don't have that stability in the body. So this left side pulls to finish the ball, and you can see where like your low point is in this turn right about there. And you're using that left side to finish. So you're pulling that left side, shortening that left side. So if we look at also where the ball is just a little bit sooner, a little bit shorter on the left, not bad, but the big thing I'm looking at here is your body position. You're trying to get your hips up into it, but this left shoulder, your shoulders, both of your shoulders are really pulling back on the ball. And it's still a pretty solid finish. It's a pretty solid throw overall. Like I give it, a B, maybe a B plus. Yeah. What I think you got to do is, like I said, it all comes back to the entry. Fix your posture a little bit, get your hips underneath you a little bit more, chest up, and then reach the ball longer to the right side, weight more through 0, and then like I said, you just need to chill out that body a little bit, kind of right as the ball comes through here. You can see it's just a little bit short on this right side. You sling the ball forwards, and then your body's still trying to find that tension and connection. So a little bit earlier connection back behind you to that right side might help out with that. And then get that left shoulder out a little bit more over this left knee or this left toe. And then let the ball get ahead just a little bit more. Feel it stretch towards the sector. And then from there, you should feel more tension in the body in the catch. It'll be easier to feel that right side working. And then you'll be able to stabilize better. And you kind of just repeat that same thing. So you set up a good entry, and then you repeat that for 2 more, 3 more turns, depending on how many turns you're doing. Like I said, there's just a little bit of pop-up in the legs here. So try to stay down. But I think if you just have better connection overall with the implement, that'll kind of clear itself up. And then, like I said, you just kind of start turning inside of it in turns 2 and 3. But overall, pretty solid stuff. So, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions, Sean. And if, like I said, if anybody else out there wants some online coaching, technical analysis, go to my website, gripandrip.co. All right. See you guys. Have a lovely day. Until next time.